If you're using the Monday CRM and then have to write a proposal within an Excel sheet and you have a really complicated Excel sheet, but the two tools are not working together, which means that every single time you have to write a proposal, you're jumping back and forth between Monday and the Excel, duplicating the Excel and then filling in all the details. I want to tell you in this video that there is a better way to do this. Hi, my name is Tara. I'm the founder of Simple Day. We're a Monday.com Platinum partner. Over the last number of years, we've done hundreds of implementations for our clients. I will tell you that this use case that I'm going to review in the video is something that's really common and we've seen with a lot of different clients, but specifically within the construction industry, because I find that they have these really complicated Excels that they need in order to write out their proposals. So they're using Monday in order to track their pipeline, but then they're going over to Excel, duplicating a template, and then filling in all the details, essentially copying one to the other back and forth, and everything's done manually. So the question is there a better way to do this? And my answer is yes. In this video, I'm going to share with you a demo that we set up in order to automate this whole process. Now, we're going to be using two specific tools in order to make this happen. The first thing that we're using is we're going to be using an app within Monday called Microsoft Power Automate by Plug-in Genie. I'm going to add a link in the description below. So if you want to check it out, the link is there for you to take a look. Now, once we have the app, the next thing that we need is that we do need a Microsoft Power Automate account, because Microsoft Power Automate is the tool that we're going to be using to create this workflow. Power Automate is essentially a workflow builder that is pretty straightforward and pretty easy to use. Here at Simple Day, we do a lot of make implementations, which is kind of the same tool like Zapier. Power Automate is another version of that, but I've actually found it a little bit easier to use than Make. It's not as complex. And I think for the average user, it's a little bit easier to use. One of the other benefits of Power Automate is its ability to embed deep inside the Microsoft ecosystem. So if you're already using several of Microsoft tools within your business, you can connect Monday to all of them by using the Power Automate connector app. So the three tools that we're going to be using here is Monday.com, the app within Monday from Plug-in Genie, and the third one is Power Automate. And that's going to manage this whole flow for us. Before we get started and see the actual flow, let's just talk about a few technical details that you need to do in order to get started. The first thing that you need to do is you need to install this app within the Monday marketplace. So here I've opened the app page and you can see that it's called Microsoft Power Automate by Plug-in Genie. All you need to do is search within the app marketplace and you'll find it and you can install it. There is a 14-day free trial. I want to tell you that the documentation of this has been really helpful and really easy to follow. So I would say it took me about 5 minutes to set up the whole connection. If you come to this page, you can see the different information, the overview, some examples of what you can do, reviews, security, permissions, billing, app management, everything's here within the Monday app marketplace. Now, let's jump over to the Microsoft side. So the first thing is that you do need to have a Power Automate premium account in order for this to work. And I don't want you to think about this tool that you can use it for this one specific workflow, because there's tons of things that you can automate using this tool. But the first thing that you need to do is you need to set up the connection to Monday. So you click on More, and here you see connections. Now, I already connected it, but if it's not connected, you simply have to search for it and you can add a new connection. As I mentioned, it only took me a couple of minutes to set it up, and Plug-in Genie has very clear instructions to help you. Now, once this is all set up, I can go to my flows, and this is where I build out essentially the workflow. Now, let's just talk about the anatomy of a workflow. There's two different parts of the workflow. The first thing is that you have a trigger. Like, what's the first thing that triggers this workflow? And then the second thing is an action. And because you installed this app within Monday, you now have the option to add triggers and actions within Power Automate. So let's start building a new flow. And I'm just going to do an automated, and I'm just going to call this test. And we're going to skip this and we are going to get started. So here you can see that I have the option to add a trigger. I'm just going to click add trigger. And over here, I can search for Monday.com. You can see here that these are the triggers that I can use to trigger this workflow. Again, I want to be clear. The reason that these are showing up here is because I've installed this app within the Monday workspace from Plug-in Genie. So you do need the app to make this work. So here's some things that I can do, and I can simply add something. Let's just add when a column changes. So you can see here, I've added my trigger. Now, the same way that we have triggers, we also have actions. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to search for Monday. And here you can see that I have my different actions. So here I can add an action. Here I can create a board, create a group. There's a lot of different things that I can do with these actions. And it's the same thing. I just edit here. And for both of these, I would need to set up all of these different boards that we're pulling from and all of the instructions. Now, this is a very, very basic tutorial on how to use Power Automate. If you're looking to really learn how to use Power Automate, I suggest Googling it or searching on YouTube because you definitely can find a more detailed video. But now what I want to show you, now that you have the general understanding, is I want to show you a workflow that we built for this construction use case that we told you about. So remember, this is how it works. We have a new user that needs a proposal. We need to then duplicate a copy of the template in Excel, okay? Create a new one with the new user's name and some details. Here you can see the full workflow set up in Power Automate, and we're starting with when an item is created. So we're working off this board PG construction, okay? And what's going to happen is when an item is created, it gets an item ID, it's copying the file, okay, then creating a connection between the two, and then we're going to add a row into our Excel file. Then one more fun part on top of that is that we are going to post a message within Teams on a specific channel about the Excel. So here we have our construction template. And if you open it, this is a very basic one. You can see some very basic information that we need. Here, when we go into Monday, I'm going to add a new project, project 6, and I'm going to mark it as working on it. I'm going to fill in the date and fill in the notes. Now, let's go back to Excel and we're just going to refresh. And you can see now we have project number 6. So the Excel was duplicated and a new one was created for project 6. And here within Teams, you can see that it says, here is a new project proposal for project number 6. And if I click on it, it's going to open up the new Excel and see the Excel has all the information from Monday. As I mentioned earlier, this use case of having a complicated Excel that needs to be duplicated because it's a template and then filled in from Monday is something that I see all the time within construction teams. So if you're using Power Automate, I recommend setting up this kind of flow within Power Automate. If you're not, then go try it out, see how it works. And don't forget that you need to install the Plug-in Genie app directly within Monday to make this whole thing work. I'd love to hear how you're using the Plug-in Genie app, either for this use case or for another use case. I'll see you in the next one. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and remember to subscribe to receive tips and tricks on how to use Monday.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.